welcome to Whimsy with the Z. Your host, Ben. I have no idea what number this is or when it will be coming out, but this will be a boy teenager. Dean. How you doing, Dean?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. Originally, I had a vision that all you guys would record like in order, and then it didn't work. I literally recorded all 5 of you guys this week, so it's fascinating. I'm having a great time with this, and I'd like to go ahead and get to know you a little bit. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Dean. How old are you? What grade are you going into?
Yeah, so my name is Dean. I am about to be a freshman, so I'm going into high school. Some things about me. I feel like my personality really reflects on like music, I guess. I think music has helped me a lot in my life, and I think it really reflects in who I am today and who I will be in the future. Yeah.
Music. Do you play music, create music, or just the music that you listen to?
A little bit of both. When I used to go to church, I was in a band, like the church band. I used to play drums for a while. So yeah, creating music kind of. But just listening to music, I just like appreciate it really much. I feel like it really helps us. And it really like expresses emotion too. I feel like music is like more than just like sounds and like good feelings, you know? Mm-hmm. It's just more than that, like lyrics too, and I can relate with some. But yeah, I have a pretty good background with music.
So do you like to do you make your own music? Like, do you have like you play multiple instruments, or do you have something like on a computer where you can put all the sounds together and you kind of produce your own stuff?
It's mainly instruments. Definitely in the future, I want to try to produce music, whether it's my own or another artist. But no, mainly just instruments is kind of like a hobby.
Okay.
Yeah. What
kind of music? It sounds like you have an appreciation for the musics. Is there a particular genre or artist that you tend to gravitate more towards?
Well, most of my music that I listen to is really influenced by my parents. They're from the 90s, and they still, I don't know how to explain it, but mainly just like 90s R&B, really, just R&B in general. I listen to like more of the modern artists like SZA, Summer Walker, or more of like my mom's personal favorites like Neo, Usher, stuff like that.
Yeah, I'll take the Usher. I used to. That was on the playlists back in the day.
Yeah.
A couple of mixtapes I made. Usher made it on there. What else? What else do you like to do?
Well, I really like. I'm not gonna say socializing, but I really do like hanging out with my friends. I feel like that's a really boring answer, but I really like just hanging out with the people I love. More specifically, going out with them. Like, there's an amusement park that I go to with some of my friends. Playing games, just like online games, video games, board games, stuff like that. I really like cooking too, especially with my mom. Most of my personality and like my traits come from her. I feel like I'm really influenced by her. So yeah, from time to time, I make dinner, help her with dinner, and cook. Yeah.
So when you're hanging out with your friends, you like more of the face-to-face, like physically out and about hanging out?
Yeah. I definitely don't get to do it as much as I want to. But yeah, yeah.
Do you have do you do the social media thing?
Yeah, social media I have, and I have online friends and obviously in real life friends that I meet in school. So I definitely have like multiple ways to interact with them and like have that quality time with them.
What are some of the things that you did this summer?
Some of the things that I did this summer. So I was supposed to go to Colorado or like a cabin for my mom's birthday, but that got canceled unfortunately. But mainly I've just been hanging out with family, going to like little hotels here and there, exploring the city, of course hanging out with my friends, going to amusement parks, riding on roller coasters, just mainly spending time with family. But, summer's not over yet, so there's still more to come.
But you would say a fairly active summer.
Yeah.
Are you excited to go back to school?
It's definitely going to be different. For my first year of high school, I decided to do online. Simply because there was definitely like public high schools that I was interested in. My friends were going to go to, so definitely going there for like the social part of high school, really.
Mm-hmm.
But I mainly chose online school because I just realized now, like, because I'm growing, I'm more mature, I can understand things more. High school is, yes, like a time where you can like meet people and like actually stick with the people you know, but it's also just based on like it can help you with really your whole entire life. It's your future and like your career. And I chose online because I really thrive in it in terms of academics. Like my grades are really good. So I'm gonna try it for my first year of high school. That's really mostly why I chose it, because I wanted to focus more on my grades and not really get distracted by the craziness in high school.
What kind of craziness do you think happens in high school? So would you say this? Well, we'll get into it, but the quote unquote craziness is kind of what deterred you from doing it live and kind of doing it more online?
Not necessarily that. That's definitely a factor, really, because I'm not really like into like that crazy. When I mean crazy is just like doing dumb stuff, really, just anything dumb that you can ever imagine in high school, especially now. For example, like vaping in the bathrooms. Like when the principal's out in the halls, like that's stupid, But the main reason why I did want to go to online high school was just because of the state that I'm in, like in terms of like the high schools. Like I don't really live by any near high schools that I would specifically like gravitate towards, and for those reasons, I'm doing online because it's easier. I'm home. I can help my mother, and there's house stuff that needs to be done, so I can do that all at once.
For sure you want to do it for your first year, but you're not totally opposed to going to a regular high school sophomore, junior year.
I'm definitely thinking about it. If my freshman year doesn't go well in all aspects of online school, then I'm gonna try like a public high school, because there's a big high school here that most of my friends go to. So I'm gonna try that if things don't work out. But this is just I guess for the feel of like the work, because I'm more scared of the work than the actual like people, I guess, in high school, if that makes sense.
You think the in-person curriculum would be a little bit different, more difficult?
Yeah, more difficult too, and just like more distracting overall. I mean, kids. I mean, I know I'm still a kid myself, but just people that aren't like mature enough to like just actually just listen to the teacher and gather the information that they're presenting. So,
but don't you think at 14 none of you guys are mature enough to be doing that?
Well, I certainly am mature, but based on my 8th grade year, I can say
Yeah.
That's
Do you worry about losing that social interaction? In a way, you're putting yourself a year behind. So if you do go to school, you're going to be kind of like, is there like a disconnect or anything that you're worried about?
Well, the online school I'm going to, I do have friends there. This is the same online high school that I went for my 7th grade year, so it's like kind of like a K through 12. But no, I'm not really concerned about the whole social thing. I mean, social media exists, you know. That's usually where I like plan with my friends, my in real life friends, and you know, I still hang out with them. I'm in like a pretty in an area where I know a lot of people my age, so I can definitely hang out with them too.
Okay.
But no, definitely that isn't my biggest concern going to this, because I know it's definitely not everybody's choice, because you know everybody learns differently,
Right?
And they need like, you know, high school experience with that social interaction. But you know, this is just in a kind of to try, I guess.
I like the that you have the forethought to make that decision, and it does sound like a very mature decision to like. Obviously, I don't think you came up with that decision quickly. You probably waited out a little bit. Are your parents supportive of you doing an online?
Yeah, they're really supportive. During spring break, I think we made a list of the high schools and the pros and cons of, you know, what's good for me and what's bad, and like, you know, something that I would want. But they're really supportive of my decision of going to online high school, because I mean, not only does it benefit me, but it benefits them. I mean, both my parents work, you know. My dad works like practically like the other side of town.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna help with like, you know, money, the gas, you know.
Okay.
So yeah, they're supportive.
Yeah. You mentioned it a couple of times, and I'm sorry if it gets a little heavy right now, but you mentioned a couple of times doing it online. You're at home able to help mom. You mentioned the gas and the travel back and forth. At 14, do you feel like you have like a responsibility to kind of help out the family where you can, or is it just something that you want to do to help support like the family unit?
Well, for a long time, I thought that since I was the older child, I should have more responsibility, especially with things that I can't control. For example, bills and just like mostly financial things.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, again, I'm more mature now. I don't really feel that way. I'm doing this more for just the support and like, how do I explain it? Just to give some like weight off my parents' shoulders.
Okay.
You know, because the high school I was going to go to is pretty far from where I live. So that was definitely going to make things a bit harder for my dad's work and just for the schedules and the days in general. So I definitely wanted to help out with that a bit in a way that I'm also satisfied with, like going to online high school, if that makes sense.
It's a very mature decision. Definitely a lot of forward thinking. Definitely above your years. I am the oldest, and for a minute I played older brother, and then it kind of like it goes all over the place. And only now, in my 40s, do I'm like, I want to record everybody's story. If they're supportive of it and it's a decision that you're happy with, it's definitely different and unique. And I think it's important. I think it's good to know that you have. I think what's important is that you have a voice and you're able to articulate it in a way and to make a decision that makes sense. Whereas opposed to like, you know, there's some kids that might be like, well, I have to do this because that's what they said. It's interesting to see that you have a say in your high school career path. How close are you to 15?
15. My birthday was in May.
Okay. So you haven't really you're not at an age yet where you're starting to think about work and finding a job.
Oh, I'm definitely interested in getting a job. Last year for summer, I volunteered at a library that I was close to. It didn't pay, but it was pretty nice experience. I definitely didn't go as much as I wanted to because I was a bit younger at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't really as excited to help. But I think here next year I can start working at a few places. So definitely excited to do that.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're excited to grow up. Like you're just like, let me do my thing. Like
yeah. Yeah. Happy to have more responsibility. Definitely not excited to pay bills and, pay cars and do all that expensive stuff. But just, I guess, more freedom.
Do you volunteer a lot? You mentioned church. You mentioned volunteering at the library. Do you like to do volunteer type work?
Yeah. It depends on what it is, but I volunteered a lot when I was at church. I stopped going recently, but I've grew up in church for most of my elementary life, I guess. So I've been going. I stopped going when I was 11 or 12. But I've been I volunteer a lot. I do outreaches, going knocking on people's doors, giving them flyers. I was a part of a puppet show, a Christian puppet show where we host a puppet show at the park to try to get people to go to God. But definitely I like volunteering.
With you doing online high school, do you still have opportunities for any kind of clubs or activities associated with the school, or just any after school activities?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm thinking of going to volleyball as a sport. But I mean, now it's 2024. I mean, there's multiple ways for people to interact. There's a lot of websites too where you can have online classes, clubs. But yeah, my school definitely offers that. I know for a fact. Yeah.
Any particular clubs that you're interested in other than the volleyball?
I haven't seen any that I like yet. In terms of the clubs and activities at my school. But I'm not really gravitating to anything like clubs or anything like that right now. Maybe when I'm in high school, but other than that, not really.
What are some of the things that you're really, really confident about yourself as a person? What are some of the things that you're really confident about that you're happy with?
Really confident. I'm gonna be honest. I kind of struggle with believing in myself most of the time, and just I guess telling myself that I'm a confident person in general because I'm really scared for a lot of things. For example, doing something for the first time, or I don't know, going somewhere new, I guess. I don't know. But something that I'm confident in is I think I'm confident in being a good I don't know how to word this, being a good support system, I think. My mom tells me that I'm a really empathetic person. So whenever my friends, going through a hard time, I'm put everything down and be there for them and listen. I'm a good listener too, so I guess I'm confident out listening. Yeah.
And then the opposite side, scared. So what you mentioned scared of doing new and different things. What scares you about the idea of high school? Growing up, you got 4 more years and you're done. You're an adult. What scares you about that idea?
I think what scares me about high school is mainly failing, because I mean, if you don't do good in high school, chances are you like probably won't do good in like life, I guess, or like have like a really good career, I guess. Um, but I'm kind of scared of like the people. I mean, super seniors. Super seniors are like big and like muscular and scary and pick on freshmen. I don't know.
Are your parents college educated?
Like, did they go to college? Is that okay? My dad, no. My mom is getting into college, soon. I mean, I know she's a mom now, but I mean, you're not too old to go to college. But yeah, she's gonna go to college soon.
So couldn't you, like, obviously we want you to do well in school and then go to college, but there's also that part, right, where you can still have a very successful life without all that stress of good grades in college. Because your parents, would you consider your parents pretty successful?
Yeah, I think they're oh my gosh, I think they're really successful. I mean, they have stable jobs. They're really thriving in their jobs too. I mean, they're good at what they do. Even if they haven't gone to college, even if they weren't the best in high school. But I think the reason why I wanted to get in high school is because I want to have some type of like job in like the medical field, because I'm pretty sure you need good grades and like a bachelor and like masters to get into like those positions.
What kind of what field in the medical field? Like what section?
I don't really know specifically, but either I want to help like animals, so I guess the medical field, like veterinarian. I think that's in that too.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, because I have 6 cats myself. So I don't really want like people to worry about their pets' health, because at the end of the day, everybody who has a pet loves their pet. So they have their pet healthy and alive.
When I first approached you, or your mom approached you about this, the idea of Whimsy with the Z, what were some of your first thoughts?
I was definitely a bit nervous. I mean, at the end of the day, this is real. This is gonna be published, I think.
Yeah.
So that people are probably gonna be hearing this in like 1 to 2 weeks when this is released. So I was definitely nervous about that. But I was mostly excited. Because I mean, this is a kid friendly podcast, and what my main my lane, I guess, I don't know how to word it, but my main goal of being on here was to kind of be a person that kids can relate to, or just for people to think like, hey, it's okay, or like if I express like my story or like how am I feeling, like, oh, I feel that way about high school too, or stuff like that. So just knowing that they're not alone. It's totally normal to feel the way you feel about high school or anything in general. So just don't feel like you're alone. That was my main thing when my mom told me about this. Yeah.
Are there other podcasts or YouTube channels or anything like similar to this? Like, are there kids talking to kids? Like, is there like a not that I want to steal from them, but like, is there another platform that kids are helping kids? Like how do you, like, if you're nervous about something, where do you go other than your parents to kind of get that like you said, you want to give other kids that reassurance that what they're feeling and what's going on is normal, and that you guys can relate? Do you have another platform that you can relate to somebody?
What do you mean, like the podcast thing? I don't really listen to podcasts. But honestly, no.
And part of it is this. Like, I liked this idea. Is I don't see a lot of because most of the teenage content that you see are. I don't want to say mindless because it's not necessarily mindless. It's still creative, but like the reels, like I don't see a lot of like teenagers being reels. And I think it's kind of I love the idea that the 5 of you kids are going to be, sharing and letting other people who listen to be like, oh, I know what he's talking about. I don't like this either, or. On the female side, some of the issues that they'll have, growing up in high school. So, I like the idea that you will be part of just a different channel that kids can kind of use to kind of reassure their feelings and everything that's going on. What do you hope personally to get out of this? Like we got two. You have a 16 to 17-year-old female and a 16-year-old boy. What do you kind of hope to get out of this listening to everybody else's experiences?
Well, I think for all the people listening, I mean, there's a lot of people with like age ranges, so there's definitely like I don't want to say a person for everybody, but there's definitely like different stories from a lot of different people from different ages. So I think what I would want from this is just for them to be more confident in themselves. Because I definitely struggle with confidence, and just believing in yourself and not being scared of everything. Because I mean, you only live once. Right. But what I really want from this is just for people to enjoy it, to hopefully they're like entertained by it, and I don't know, just to feel better about themselves. I mean, a lot of teens now, they just really struggle with they don't like the way they look, their face, just like mentally, emotionally, physically, like they just struggle with liking themselves. So hopefully with this podcast, they can learn to just love themselves in every aspect, because I mean, everybody's different every way. And of course, everybody's not perfect, but the things that you have are unique, and you should really just appreciate that about yourself.
Do you think a lot of teenagers struggle with those things, like their personal image of themselves, their self-confidence, their self-esteem? Do you think a lot of kids have a very similar feeling to what you personally have?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, not trying to get like a little like too deep, but for most of my middle school year, I feel like I really didn't have an opportunity to show who I was. I feel like I always had to put on a mask in order to be liked by people, to get, I don't know, for people to talk to me in general. Because I'm gonna be honest, people only talk to me because I brought snacks all the time, like a big bag of chips or, sandwiches. But I definitely struggled with just being myself. I mean, I still do to this day. Because there's not a lot of, I mean, there is people, but for people like me, you can't find like people that will stick with you for like who you are. Because I mean, I've had a lot of best friends,
right?
And they always left me for some dumb reason and never listen to what I have to say, even though I give my all. Because like I said before, my mom says I'm empathetic. I'm there for people. I drop everything because when you're my friend, you're my friend. I care about you. I want the best for you. But it just kind of hurts when like you don't get that back, especially because they don't like you for who you are. So yeah, I definitely do believe that a lot of people struggle with that, and it's definitely hard. But I feel like you can get through it. Just know that you're not alone.
And it's not an easy topic to bring up, to either your parents or even like your friends, to be like, "Hey, Johnny, I don't like the way my hips look in these shorts." And like you can't have that conversation, with another teenager. But I hope that this podcast, we can get a little candid and kind of just show that we're all self-conscious about the weirdest and the dumbest things, and or get a better understanding of what it is that you guys go through and why you make some of these decisions that you guys go through over the next couple of years. I think it's going to be exciting. I'm happy with the first month. I think the 5 of you guys are a lot of similarities, and there's a lot of similarities, and then there's some differences. But I think what's interesting is across the 5 of you, different ages and genders, how alike you guys really are. So it's going to be nice that you guys kind of are going to create this like support group for yourselves and hopefully for others. And I think that's all I got for you. I just wanted to get some intros out there. So next month when we hang out, we'll go into the first day of school. So how is school going? Whatever else is happening over the next month. Do you have any questions for me?
No, I don't. Thank you.
All right. Dean, I appreciate everything. I know we got, get into some deepish areas, but I appreciate you for your honesty and, kind of putting yourself out there for the podcast and for everybody else. I know it's not going to be easy, but you're a fantastic person. And I look forward to getting to know you more and letting everybody else kind of get to know you.
Thank you.
All right, Dean, you have a good night, and thank you.
Thank you.
Whimsy.